What's up guys, how are you guys doing? In this video, I'll be talking to you guys about 9 and everything about her kit and stuff like that, okay? 9 is a very flexible tank DPS character. There's so many builds you guys can do with her. And yeah, she's just crazy guys. But before that, I do want to mention, of course, they removed the censorship they added to her. So now she looks like how she looked before, okay? So don't worry about that, okay? Just they removed the censorship on her live 2D art, okay? But let's get to 9 right here. I've been trying to test her in all of the new chaos mode and stuff like that, and yeah, her damage is crazy guys, and she seems to be one of the best tanks you guys can have in your account, okay? But let's get to it. And of course, when we talk about her cards, the main card you guys need to know is the hue card, okay? Because of this hue card right there, you guys can come up with so many different builds guys, okay? So each of this right here, I like to think these things as like like Veronica's ballista cards, where each of them got their own unique abilities and effects and stuff like that, okay? So the first one is Ironclad, which is pretty much revolves around shielding, okay? So this is her tank, her main tank build you guys want to go for if you guys are trying to use her as a tank mainly, okay? So the Ironclad pretty much gives you a shield and it does a crazy damage as well, which is pretty good. And then we have the extreme version, which is just her nuke card right there. And with the extreme build, of course, you guys can put out some crazy amount of damage with that, okay? Because this thing does so much damage guys, okay? It probably got the highest multiplier, like base multiplier on a card, okay? With the level 5 version of this. And yeah, this thing hurts, okay? And then we have the flash one, which is it's pretty much the upgraded version of the normal one, but it gives it a retain on it as well. So you guys can, keep it however long you want and then use it whenever you feel like it, okay? The rest of them, they don't have a retain on them except the ambush one as well, okay? What retain will do is pretty much will let you hold on to the level right here, okay? Because with the retain, so let's say you have like a level 3 max level flash card, okay? But with the retain, you'll be able to hold on to that and pretty much use it whenever you want to, okay? So that's the only difference, but it's pretty good as well. But this is not a build I would go for. My favorites are, of course, the Ironclad, the Extreme, and then the I think it was the counter one right here, okay? Because yeah, the counter team is really fun as well. And then we have the Massacre one, which is just her AoE skill, okay? So this is if you want to build her as AoE character, yeah, then this is what you guys want to go for, because it allows her to do AoE damage, right? As you can see, 408 defense-based damage to all enemies, decrease damage amount by 10% for each target. Of course, it's not going to be the same it's not going to be as much damage as, like, let's say Yuki's damage, okay? Yuki is mainly made for AoE content, and but for 9 they gave her an AoE card as well that will, I think for, like, if you guys are trying to push the difficulty on the new chaos mode and trying to get to the higher rank, going with this one is easier because it will make you run a lot faster, because it just cleans the entire field whenever you use this card. That's so much damage, right? And then we have the last one, which is Ambush. This is very specific, it's very situational. Okay, it's mainly for counter attack focused team and build for 9, okay? So if you guys are trying to use it with a counter comp, definitely this is what you guys want to go for, okay? Yeah, because it says 408 defense based damage on ally counter attack, activate this card. So whenever let's say you guys are using it with Magna, and when Magna counter attacks, this card activates and then does extra damage as well. So very good, okay? And not only that, each of these things, they got their own different effects right here and levels. So for the Ironclad, we have level 1, level 2, level 3. The effects are not that much different, but but the only difference, the higher the rank is, the more damage you're gonna do. For example, for the Ironclad, the shield amount doesn't go up, but the damage goes up, right? Because level 1 is only 490, but level 3, the final level, is 714, right? Multiplier, which is pretty good, right? And every time these cards get exhausted, you'll be creating the next level. So let's say you created one, but you guys don't use it, and it goes into the exhaust pile. Then once it goes to the exhaust pile, it will the incinerate effect activates, and then you'll be able to create the level 2 version. And when you the level 2 level right here, the level 2 card, get exhausted after using it or without using it, it will create the level 3 version, right? So that's how she works. And yeah, pretty simple. That's the kit she got here. And then we have the extreme one, of course, which is the only ones I got up to level 5 effect on it, which is crazy. And look at this multiplier, right? This thing is 1020% defense based damage. It's a single target attack, and then of course it does have instant rate as well, right? So at the start of the turn, it creates one extreme in hand, right? And yeah, pretty much the extreme is a build I'm planning to go for. And yeah, this card just does so much damage. This multiplier is just insane. This thing can go all the way up to like 6,000 plus and stuff like that, okay? Based on like a certain build you guys can do with it, okay? So very strong right there. And of course we have her flash skill, which also goes up to level 3. And then the higher the level, the more damage it's going to do. And then same thing with this one, right? The massacre card. That's an AoE skill, and then it goes all the way up to level 3. Level 3 being 714% defense based damage to all enemies, and decrease damage amount by 10 for each target, right? Yeah, so that's the only downside for the massacre card, and that's why I'm not a fan of it, because it will do less damage the more enemy this card hits, which is interesting, right? I guess it makes sense. They are trying to balance out her damage, so this kind of makes sense, but you know, it is what it is, right? And then lastly we have, of course, the ambush card, which is the counter based the counter focus build right there. And the same thing, right? The multiplier is pretty much the same, except for the extreme version, right? The final level is 714 damage, and then whenever an ally counters, she gonna activate this card again and do damage, right? So very cool. So that's our main card. This is our main bread and butter card right here. And then her other cards are pretty good. This one is by far the least important one. This one is it's okay, right? This is my least favorite card in her kit, because what it does is, so 143% defense based damage, 20% damage base shield, and then increase damage amount of exhaust cards by 20. This is pretty much just to buff her heal cards, right? Because they are exhaust cards, and then when you activate this card, it will give it the 20% damage boost on the base version, right? Of course, with the Epiphany, that will go up, right? For example, in the first Epiphany, it goes from 20% to 30% damage boost to those exhaust cards, right? The Epiphanies are decent for this one, right? The next one is, of course, 20% defense based damage. If a card was exhausted this turn, increase damage amount of this card by 30%. This one is not good, because it's not, instead of buffing the heal cards like this one right here, it's gonna buff this card, and this card doesn't do that much damage, so this is kind of pointless. Next Epiphany is, of course, right here, which is a shield focus Epiphany right here. So if you guys are trying to build ironclad build, you guys can go for this one right here, because it says 214 defense based damage, and then 20% damage base shield, and increase shield gain amount of skill cards by 30%, right? So instead of like this one, instead of buffing the damage, it will buff the shield amount, okay? And then next one is this one is my favorite, because it gives a massive damage boost right here. So let's say 143 defense based damage, 20% defense based damage, 20% damage based shield, and a plus 60% damage amount for each exhaust card in hand. So if you guys want to use this as another DPS card right here, that's pretty good, right? But yeah, this one doesn't buff the heal card. Only this one does, unfortunately, actually. But this one, right, that 60% damage is pretty good, and it could definitely add up. So if you guys want to, if you guys need more ways to do damage with her, this is a good one. And then we have last one, which is for counter only, right? 214 defense based damage, 20% damage based shield for one turn, and when an exhaust card is activated, one counter attack, right? So yeah, very simple right there. But the two important cards for her kit are Fatal Strike and Counter Blade right here. Okay, these two are her main utility cards to pretty much just make this thing even better, okay? So what these two does is, so the first one, the base version is 143 defense based damage, increase damage amount by 20% for each cost of the highest cost exhaust card in hand when exhaust that card, right? Then exhaust that card, right? This one not that good, right? But with the Epiphany, this thing can do some crazy stuff, okay? So of course the first one is just the base version, but it's a little improved, right? Instead of the right here, instead of the 20%, it goes up to, let's look at this one, it goes up to 30, right? And then the second Epiphany, 265 defense base damage, increase damage amount by 20% for each cost of the highest cost card in hand, right? So these two are kind of useless, in my opinion, for her builds. But this one is pretty good, right? What it does is change heal in hand to the final level, right? It's not as impactful as her other Epiphanies like these two, but that's pretty good. If you guys want to get access to the final version of any hue cards, this is pretty good, right? For example, if you guys want the final version, right? So for example, if we go here, let me find it real quick. So if we go here, right? For example, you guys want the level 5 version for this, right? When you use that card right there with this Epiphany, let me just go back. So many menus on her, right? Yeah, so it will activate the level 5 card right away, and it does have return, so you guys can save this card whenever you want and then use it at a certain turns, right? So pretty good, right? So it's situational, but it's pretty good still. Next one is this one right here. This one is the one I've been trying to experiment with a little bit more, because what it does is exhaust 2 random exhaust cards of other combatants in hand. So what this means is that you're gonna have to use other characters that provide exhaust cards as well, because it will exhaust random, it will exhaust other combatants cards, okay, not Nine's cards, okay. So yeah, but in hand, for each card exhausted through this ability, increase damage amount of the next used attack card of this unit, okay, by 30% until used. Until used is a keyword, because what this means is unless you guys use any of her attack cards, this thing will stack up, okay. This thing will keep stacking up. Yeah, this is the 30% down, will keep stacking up every time you exhaust a card. And then whenever you use, let's say you guys trying to power up this card right here, for example, right, you guys are trying to buff up this level 5 version, you guys can keep stockpiling on the card, right, the 30% damage on this, because it's an attack card, and then whenever you feel like it, and since you don't even need to use it, because what happens is, if you don't use it, it will exhaust automatically and it will create the next level for this. So it works great with this one, I think. And I will keep adding the 30% damage on this, and then at max stack you'll be able to do crazy amount of damage, right? So yeah, so this one I'm trying to experiment with a little bit more, but it's interesting. But the downside is, of course, if you use any other cards, the 30% damage will disappear, right? It's not going to be applied to this card right here, right? Let me show you guys. So the hue card right there. So yeah, but yeah, I think this is gonna be interesting, and it's a skill card, so you guys can use this whenever you feel like it, of course, right? But like I said, right, so this is the one I'm trying to experiment with right here. Next up is, oh yeah, let's go to the last Epiphany right here. It gives the retain, and then defense base damage 214 defense base damage, increase damage amount by 80% for each ally owning counter attack, right? So again, if you guys are trying to build a counter attack comp, yeah, this is very good, right? Let's say with Magna, Marble, and stuff like that, right? So yeah, but this one is my favorite, I think, especially for the extreme build, the extreme hue build. So yeah, let's see. And then we have this one right here. Of course, when it comes to duplicating cards, definitely you will just want to duplicate Fatal Strike and Fighting Spirit. Yeah, these two are one of her base cards right here. Yeah, these three right here are amazing right here. This Fighting Spirit, you can't duplicate it. What it does is activate one highest cost attack card of this unit in hand on target. Right, on the target, then exhaust those cards, right? Since I have her A1, I could select the target to use this on, okay? So pretty good, right? Yeah, I have her E1, so her E1 is very good, especially for this card right here. But yeah, these three cards, definitely, if you guys want to try to duplicate this, Fatal Strike with whatever Epiphany you guys go for, right? Especially if you guys have this Epiphany, definitely duplicate it. And then of course this card right here as well, right, for duplicate, because those two are very important cards. And then we have the Counter Blade. It's a unique card, you can't duplicate this, but what it does, when shield is gained through an ability, one honed edge, and honed edge is pretty much increase the defense based damage amount of attack cards by 20% for 1 turn, max 3 stack, right? So but the Epiphany on these things are really good. My favorite is this one right here. This is very good right here. When a card is exhausted, 1 honed edge, so you can stack this thing up very nicely. Okay, every time you exhaust a card, you are getting honed edge, right? 1 honed edge, and this thing stacks up, so very nice right there. And then next up is increase shield gain amount by 15% and when shield is gained through an ability 1 honed age, right? Again, this is especially good if you guys are going for ironclad build, okay, with a shielding build, okay. Next up is this one, the third Epiphany, which is when shield is gained through an ability 1 honed age. That's the same as this one, but I like this one a little bit better, right? Because this is the same thing, but this one got more on it, right? That increased shield gain amount by 15% is very good, right? This one is just without the top part, just when shield is gained through an ability and 1 honed age, right? Of course, it does give it initiation, but it's not that impactful, right? The initiation it doesn't really matter. So yeah, this is better Epiphany. So these two, this one is my least favorite one, I'll be honest with you. And then we have this one, when counter attack is gained 1 honed age plus. What honed age plus is, and now we know what honed age plus is. All right, increase the defense base damage amount of attackers of allies by 20% for 1 turn, right? The base version is okay. So got it. Okay, so the base version only buffs the damage, like 9 damage, but this one provides the honed age to the allies as well, right? So interesting. All right, so that's what it does, right? Okay, so this one is good, right, for a counter setup again, right? Obviously, right? And then lastly we have this one. This one is definitely one of the best one you guys can't go for, to be honest. What does at the start of the turn activates heal in hand 1 time, right? So that's very good, right? So every turn it will activate one of the heal cards right here, and which means it will make it easier for you to level this thing up as well, right? Because every time this thing activates, it will go into the exhaust pile and it will create the next level right after, right? So this is very good right here, but it can be a bad pick for certain comps. So if you guys are trying to use a certain rotation and certain activation of this card right here, and this is not gonna work, okay, because it will activate automatically at the start of the turn, right? So it might ruin your run and stuff like that, but outside of that, it's very good, right? That's one of the best one. So my favorite ones are, for when it comes to this one, is this one right here and this right here, right? Those three are one of the best ones you guys can go for, okay. And of course this one, there's no Epiphany on it, you can just duplicate this as much as possible. It's very good. I think having like 2 or 3 copies of this is very good, and having like 2 copies of this is very good as well, okay. Okay, next up we're gonna talk about her partner. Her partner, I'll say, is not a must, okay. It's not a must, but it does provide her with pretty sweet stuff, guys, okay. So what it does is increase the assign combatant defense by 10%. I have this thing A1 E1, so you know, the amount went up by 2. I think without the duplicate, without the dupe, it's only 8% defense increase, but yeah, I have it +1, so it's 10%. And then when an exhaust card of this the assigned combatant is exhausted or activated, increase defense base damage amount of the next attack card used by 25, which is amazing, right? Yeah, it just whenever so whenever the assigned combatant is exhausted, it will give you the 25% damage boost, which is very good, right? And when a 2 cost or higher card of the assigned combatant is exhausted, gain 125 fixed shield. So this pretty much means any of her hero cards will get a massive benefit from this. So it's very good, right? And then lastly we have the defense based damage 250, that's the active, and then it will give you 5 caustic remarks. Then what caustic remarks does is increase the damage amount taken by 20%, and if shield was owned, increased by an additional 10%. So this will give the enemies a debuff where they're going to be taking 30% more damage, right, with a shield included, right? And then whenever you hit them, yeah, you are dealing 30% more damage to them, right? So very good. That's very good effect right here. And then we have on effect activation, decrease caustic remark by 1, right? So yeah, so of course it will give you 5, and every time you practice thing, it will go down by 1. So yeah, but yeah, her partner is very good, and I think it's very specific to her, in my opinion. But yeah, but the alternatives are, you guys can definitely use Wilhelmina, right? Wilhelmina, this is a good card for her because it gives her a massive 24 increase to defense, and then what does is when the assigned combatant targets a vulnerable enemy, 20% defense based damage of attack cards, right? So this is very good. If you guys don't have her own like partner, you guys can definitely go for this chick right here. And the active is for 1 turn it will give you 2 morals and 1 fortitude, which is very good, right? So that's a very good partner for her if you guys, are lucky into the resource to get her. And another one is of course Rachel, but Rachel is specific to a counter build, a counter comp, because what it does is the assign combatant's skill card, so the assign combatant's skill card shield gain is increased by 20%. So this is really good if you guys are going for the Ironclad build, right? Because Ironclad is all about shielding, right? So this will pretty much buff the shielding amount on that. And then once when that same combatant gains the shield, 40% chance to gain one counter attack, right? So yeah, if this is only for like it's more specific to like counter comp, but you guys can definitely use it with the Ironclad build, okay? And then the active is 100% shield, and then draw one, which is pretty good, right? But those two are my recommendation for partners. I think Wilhelmina in general is better if you guys don't have her own like partner, right? Okay. And for memory fragment wise, I went with this. It's just a bunch of combined gears, but of course I went with a 2-piece defense boost right here because it provides her with a good amount of status, right? The defense status, and since everything scaled with her defense as well, okay? So of course, and yeah, because I like all of these got like amazing stats on them, right? See, all of them got like crit rate, crit damage, right? So that's why I used it. But of course, ideally you guys want to use this card right here, which is this state right here, which is 30% damage amount to justice and order 5 times per turn, right? Just give you a 30% increase from the get-go, which is amazing, right? So if you guys wanted to do even more damage, this is definitely the build you guys want to go for, okay? And of course, if we're talking about her ego manifestation, I have her E1. E1 is very good because it will allow the fighting spirit to target, to be able to target an enemy, okay? Because without the E1, this is random, okay? It will attack random enemy right here. But with the E1, of course, it will let you target stuff. And her E2 is not that crazy, guys. Definitely not good, okay? It's not that crazy, okay? It just gives you this thing right here, which is the exploit opening, and it will provide you with one vulnerable and one tenacity damage, right? Which is interesting, right? So at the start of the battle, create one exploit opening card, exploit opening, one vulnerable and one tenacity. So of course, this will help her with the exhaust cards as well, but her it's it's just like it's situational, right? You guys don't really need this, to be honest, but her E1 is very good, okay? And her E3 is of course very good because it will buff the damage on this thing, and what it does is of course 100 plus 150 damage amount to reflect 0 and 50% damage amount to the modifier for the combined cost of the 2 highest cost cards effect, right? And then yeah, it will also add 50% to the 100% damage amount for each point of the combined cost of the 2 highest cards. So it will be 150 right there on this, if I'm not mistaken, right? And her E3 is pretty decent. I mean, E4, what does when 9 cards are exhausted, gain 1 improvisation equal to cost of the cards. Improvisation, what it does is 50% defense based damage amount to 9 attack cards for 1 turn, right? Yeah, of course, this will just buff up her damage capability, which I mean, she doesn't really need it because she does insane amount of damage already, but yeah, very good right there. And then this is just an upgrade. And then the last one is when heal cards are activated, inflict 50% of damage dealt to the target as fixed damage. Very good right here. So her E6 is very good. I think my favorite ones are E1, of course, not E3 actually, E4, and then E6. So those three are my favorite one, right? And then some team comp you guys can absolutely use this. I think Narja is definitely a stable for her team, for 9 team, because Narja will later reduce cost of her cards, okay? 9 is very AP hungry. If you guys don't have the right build for her. For example, the build I got so far is with the extreme build is this right here. As you can see, of course, we have the new gears as well, which are amazing. I'm gonna go over these in the next video, but yeah, I decided to go for the extreme build right here, and yeah, I got this Epiphany for this one right here, which is increased defense based damage, 20% damage based shield, and 60% damage amount for each exhaust card in hand, right? So yeah, that one's pretty good. And then we have this card, right, just to stack that 30% damage on the extreme card. And then we have this one, which is upgrade when a card is exhausted, 1 Honed Age. I went with that because it will just being able to get the Honed Age is very good right there. And then we have this one right here, the Fighting Spirit card, of course, right? So this is the build I ended up getting. I got this build in a tier 9 stage, guys, when I was trying to push difficulty. So yeah, interesting. But yeah, Narja is definitely stable for 9 because she just provides her with a lot of utility, guys, okay? So Narja definitely a main teammate for her. Another one you guys can use is Chizuru because of this card right here. Okay, this card right here, what it does at the start of the turn, gain inhibits and decrease cost of two random cards of other combatant by 1, right? So anything that reduces the cost of her cards is going to be very good for her. Okay. And another one you guys can use is of course Ceremonial, but Ceremonial is very specific because, for example, if you guys have like something like this right here, which is exhaust 2 random exhaust cards of the other combatant in hand, Ceremonial is gonna be really good because all of these cards right here, her homing laser cards right here, they have exhaust on them. So this card right here, right, this card can exhaust those cards in order to buff nice attack. Okay, so yeah, so right now it's situational, but if you guys don't have this epiphany, then I would say she's not that crazy for a teammate. Another one you guys can go for is of course Calipe. Calipe gonna work really well with her, but of course the AP cost is gonna be quite high because Calipe also requires a lot of AP, right? But Calipe is of course a lot comfortable with the AP because whenever she uses any of her cards, they will automatically activate these guys right here. Okay. Another one is Mika. Of course, Mika is gonna be really good for her, especially because of the AP provision, AP battery capability of Mika. Okay. Yeah, if you guys are using Mika, definitely gonna be really good. Another one is of course Magna, specifically for a counter team comp. Okay, Magna with a counter comp is going to be very good, especially with Marvel and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't really use Marvel, so I don't have a good save data for her, but yeah. Another one is of course Charon, because of these guys right here, the futility cards, all of them got exhaust on them. So for a build like mine, yeah, Charon gonna be one of the best ones to use with her as well, because I think Charon and her gonna have a crazy synergy as well, because Charon, she gonna help Charon exhaust those cards as well, and by exhausting those cards he gonna buff his damage and also buff 9 as well. So I think Charon is gonna be one of the best ones to go for with this specific epiphany. Okay, because this thing relies heavily on having other characters with exhaust cards. Okay, and Charon got plenty of those things, so definitely Charon is, I do want to try a Charon team with her. I want to try a Charon, Narja, and then 9 team. Okay, I think that's going to be quite crazy because of these guys are very good right here, man. Being able to exhaust these guys is going to be quite useful, and of course Nia is very good as well because she's gonna help her exhaust her cards and stuff like that. So yeah, Nia, you guys can absolutely use her. Of course, with her disable stack, she could also provide with a bunch of draw abilities, right? She could heal you quite a bit and stuff like that, right? And yeah, right here, right, the disable, right, on shuffle, if you take extra damage by allies to a random enemy, and on activation, remove disable, heal 50% for each disable, and 50% damage amount 2 extra attacks, right? So yeah, with Nia, she'll be able to exhaust 9 cards and then activate them right away. So yeah, Nia is definitely a good comp with her, but I think, yeah, definitely gonna try her with Charon, guys. I think that's gonna be a crazy combination right there. Of course, Ree works really well with her as well. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Ree just in general a really good support character. So yeah, Cassius, you could use him, right, just to pick a specific like cards and stuff like that with her, and yeah, to be able to draw like her heal cards and stuff like that. But yeah, I think you could definitely use her with this guy right here. It's gonna be fine. But yeah, those are some of the recommendations I have for you guys. I think definitely gonna try this build right here with Charon, guys. I think that's gonna be really good, right? Because Charon, one of my biggest issue I have with Charon is his AP costs. Okay, these futility cards being 1 cost is very annoying. This thing should have been 0 cost, to be honest, just to make his kit a lot more nicer. But yeah, it's just I'm not a fan of his futility cards. But with 9, yeah, I think it's gonna be a lot easier to use this guy. So yeah, well, I'm definitely gonna try that thing. But that's what I have for 9, guys. So, okay, guys, let me show you guys quickly how I'm thinking of using Charon here. Okay, so since I have this thing right here, the exhaust 2 random exhaust cards of the other combatants in hand. For each card exhaust through this ability, increase damage amount of the next attack card. Okay, so let me just show you guys how I'm planning to use it. Okay, so Charon, he creates these futility cards. Let's say we create these guys right here, right? And then we get 3 of them. And then what this happens is when we do this, right? Let me show you guys. So okay, you see this right here, 306%, right? But now since we have all these exhaust cards, we're gonna use this right here, exhaust those 2, right? and that will add a lot of damage to me right here. Okay, so but now I'm not able to use any of these attack cards, otherwise I'm gonna lose the damage boost here. Right, I'm gonna lose the damage boost here, right? But I want to keep the damage boost on this card specifically. Okay, so yeah, we're not gonna do anything here. We're just gonna exhaust this as well, and we're gonna end the turn. Okay, so that's how I'm planning to use it. Okay, so stacking up as much damage as possible. Since it's until used, right, the damage boost will keep up, right? So it's still growing, as you guys can see, right? But of course, I'm gonna need a lot more RNG for this to actually like work. But let's see. Right? So we're on the buff here, right? This is of course a new boss. I figured I'd show you guys how that's gonna work, right? Okay, so he creates 2 futility cards right here, but we don't have the cards that let us discard these guys, right? The fatal strike. We definitely need those in order to make this work. But I think for now we're not gonna use any of her attack cards, but we're gonna use other cards, attack cards. Okay. So okay, great. We're gonna do this right here, just to do extra damage here. It doesn't really matter, right? We're gonna end the turn. Oh, this thing, by the way, he hurt a lot, man. He hurt a lot. This creature right here. Okay, do we get it? Okay, we got the fatal strike, but we didn't get the futility card activation. Oh man, that sucks. But let's see. Okay, we got AP. Okay, no, that's not gonna work. Okay, but anyways, you guys get the idea, right? So I'm not getting lucky with the full still, I'm not gonna lie. Let me just use this right here, just to do a bit of damage. Yeah, this thing hurt, man. Golly. Okay, what we got here? Domino hyperspace. Okay. But as you can see, I still have the damage boost, so it's now 1000 right here. Just on level 4, which is great. But I think just for now, I'm just gonna heal with Narja right here, just to survive a little bit longer. Right? Yeah, I'm just trying to show you guys how this works. But we're not getting lucky with the pull, so I'm not gonna lie. Okay, let's go to the next one. And of course he heals, so obviously, which is crazy, man. The fact that he heals is actually insane. But you guys see the idea, right? Look at this, right? This also works. I think having, yeah, look at this, right? Now we went up to 1800 right there, which is crazy, right? We could exhaust one futility card right here, but this thing gonna get a turn right away, unfortunately. Let me try to do. Oh no, that's an attack card. We don't want to use that. Okay, AP right here. How we even kill this thing? Yeah, we definitely can't kill this thing. But let's just see. Right now we have 1900 right here, so let's just use this. Alright, hopefully she crits. Yeah, she didn't crit, but it's fine. And then hopefully we could kill him with this actually. Look at this 2000 stack right here, right? So yeah, you guys get the idea of how the build works right here. I'm probably gonna die here, but you know, let's just try it. Yeah, so this, oh, actually, no, we survived, guys. Let's go. But yeah, you guys get the idea, right? So I'm just trying to stack. Let me just finish it with Charon here. But yeah, that's the idea behind Charon. I definitely gonna need a lot more RNG. Trying to get some of this build right here, but you guys get the idea, right? So this is a build behind just save data right here, right? And then yeah, I do want to experiment a little bit more on this, because yeah, this thing, yeah, the amount of damage you guys can get out of this extreme version is going to be very good. Okay, but yeah, I think Charon is going to be a really good teammate if you guys are planning to use this build as well. But yeah, that's it for the video, man. I think I just showed you guys a quick showcase of like what just to get an idea of how that works. But yeah, let me know what you think about 9. I think she's freaking amazing and I love her design, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, that's it for the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and yeah, thank you for watching and bye bye.